So the carpets have just been fitted. It's all nicely colour keyed into the rest of it. I just started doing a 3D CAD drawing to see how things will fit into the room, and I decided not to do that in the end because I can't get my head around the dimensions, because I'm there, oh, this room's not as big as I thought it was. I don't think everything's going to fit, so I need to actually start shifting things down here to get an impression of how it's going to fit, because with how the console's going to be, I don't know what's going to sit on the console, what's going to sit under it. Where things are at the minute, there's a big 19-inch rack with a lot of things in it which won't be in here, because the rack's virtually empty now apart from a server PC and a bit of a patch bay in the output cards, because all the hardware stuff that I used to use went donkeys years ago. So a lot of that can sit underneath this console depending on how it fits and how I build it. So the first thing I've just brought down here, and it weighs an absolute ton, is the main studio controller, which I built quite a few years ago now. This, along with a live controller that I built the two in tandem at the same time, and I was at it night and day. It took me 2 years to build them. Was it worth it? I don't know. This thing here, it's a 2-core LC controller that sits on the Midibox hardware platform. I'll just turn the film around the other way so you can see it better. So this is kind of equivalent to two logic controllers or Mackie controllers. Obviously it's not switched in at the minute, but so we've got 16 Alps motor faders in there, all the displays. They're not pots, encoders, rotary encoders, all the rest of it. We've got a control section over here. This was originally built for Cubase, which I don't use anymore, so everything, all the text on the panel doesn't actually match up to what the controls actually do anymore. But it's fairly easy to use once you get a head around it. So the front is a aluminium panel, which I had designed in CAD and then had custom cut by Shade. For the rest of it, it's actually built on a wooden frame with aluminium panels all around it. It's got aluminium base as well, very thick, so it's quite heavy. I'm going to recess this into the console, so actually the side panels can come off, which will make it slightly narrower. And I've opened this up just to have a look inside to show everyone what it's like inside. Lots and lots of work went into this, so I'll just lift the lid up. Excuse me for a moment. Just hold it up with a piece of wood. There we go. So, yeah, hell of a lot of work in this. It's all hand soldered. All the circuit boards in this were my design and construct as well, all the ones on the front panel at least. These particular ones with the encoders were really difficult because they're actually essentially double-sided boards, which you cannot do with homemade panels. So you can probably just see all those red wires there. So everything between there and there, all the way across, there's like a little tiny wire goes across in every single one, because you couldn't route it otherwise on a single layer board. Likewise on all the electrics in the meter bridge, which I can't show you because that's hidden, but that's all like that as well. So there's tons and tons, hundreds of hours of soldering in this. So that's all kind of the front panel stuff, and then down that all wires through to all this, which is more the brains of it. This is the Midibox hardware platform. I still burnt my own boards for this, but these are Torsten Close's designs for these. So this has got two pick brains in it, one for each side, and then all the I/O hardware that runs off that. But these are all digital I/O. There's no analog involved in this board. And then on each side we've got a unit here and here, which are designed for driving the motor faders. And then with that, right at the back there, we've got a big dual voltage power supply here, which I designed, and I thought we've got a big toroidal transformer that runs it. In the early days of running this, underneath all of these boards is a little tiny capacitor, anti-ripple capacitors all on these boards, and because I not so cleverly used a toroidal transformer, which has huge inrush currents when you switch the thing on, and every time you switch this on, it used to blow the anti-ripple caps underneath the boards with the currents, so I had to take them all out and unsolder them all. Right at the back, this thing is actually runs on USB. There's a right back there, I don't know if you can see because of the light, you perhaps can't, there's a MIDI Sport 2x2 in there that was taken to bits, took the boards out of it and then linked it all up to the standard MIDI I/O in this, so that it's got USB output on it, so it just goes straight to the USB port on a PC, and then you just assign it in your DAW, and then it controls your DAW from there on in. Let's just put the lid back on. I've actually got it opened up because I've dropped a piece of metal in it and I can't find it. It might be down here somewhere. I dropped it down in the gap between the faders, or it might actually still be in the fader somewhere. I don't know. I needed to open it anyway, but there's a problem on, I think it's fader 11, which we've got a sticking fader on it at the minute. So what happens is, even though you've got 16 faders, it's kind of the same as a Behringer unit or anything like that, where you can flick between channels up and down, whatever you've got assigned in your DAW with these buttons. So if I press that button there, it will flick up to channel 17 onwards in your DAW. But the trouble is, because we've got a sticking fader, when you flick back, anything on that you've moved gets zeroed out, so it keeps messing up your mix. So it's probably a little tweak that needs to be done on the motor fader board with regard to voltage, but you have to be very careful with that, because if you tweak it up too much, it drops voltage on all the rest of them. It's quite a fine tune on it. And at the back here, these all look not much practical use for these, to be honest, but they all look very pretty when you've got a track running. You can see everything flashing up and down on the meter bridge. And there's the little shark. So yeah, all homemade. These front panels, these are all individual, because I can't actually build anything this big. So underneath, there's you've got this black stuff, which is separate pieces of PVC. They're all completely separate. They are held in with those bits of metal are actually used for double glazing those aluminium angles. And then these are all individually printed out. I designed these in can't remember what graphics package it was now, but did all the graphics and then printed them out on A4 sheets, laminated them all, and then had to obviously cut all the various holes for all the buttons and everything. It's an absolute pain getting round holes to line up with circuit boards, but many were wasted doing that, so it took days and weeks and months and years. Was it worth it? I don't know. It was a nice project, quite fun. So over the next few days I'm going to be moving everything else down here and then just moving it around on the floor for a start to see how and where it'll fit, and then start thinking about where to put bass traps and everything else, because they've all got to fit here, and everything that goes in here has got to fit around those, depending on what the room measurement software kicks out. So that's the end of Saturday.